Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Please, mister, can I have my grow room back? The only way to get my grow room back is to finish this work off. And the power was out nearly all day yesterday. It went out at 5:30 in the morning and came back on mid-morning, but it only lasted about 3/4 of an hour to an hour, which is, I managed to just quickly film something and post it before obviously the internet went off again. Power then went off until 3:30 in the afternoon, so I had no access to power tools or anything. But what I did do is crack on. This shelving is now finished. That's had its coats of varnish. All that needs to do is cure, which needs another day in the house before it can go outside and get wet if necessary, and that's just going to sit on some bricks. That's ready to go. The other staging, this large piece of timber I cut in half, that's going to be the two legs, and those are the shelves. They've all had one coat, so I'll be putting those together this morning, and that's just a matter of marking where the legs are going to go and drilling the holes and then screwing the legs to the shelves, and that's it, it's finished. Then it'll need one more coat of stain. So if I can just pop that together relatively quickly, it will be a lot of screws, because it's it's something you don't think about. That piece of wood was very heavy. Of course, once I've cut it in half, each piece is only half as heavy, so I forgot how heavy it was. And these two pieces, if carried together, are quite heavy. And then when it's finished, all four pieces are going to be fixed together. It's going to be incredibly heavy. Still, at least it won't blow over in the wind. Anyway, I have to crack on and get this lot finished so that I can get the room cleared out. I mean, I need to water my mounts today. I can get away with just doing that. And I've only got a little bit to move, and I can get at that. So that's not a big deal. So by the end of today, I will have cleared everything out to do with the bonsai staging. My saucers arrived. Day late, but nonetheless they've arrived. I didn't realise they were decorative, not that we look at them, and that's for the things that have had to go in the larger black pots like this one, because they don't fit in these trays. They just balance on the top. They're not sat in there, so they're not secure and they're not firm. So that keep squeezing around everything. So that was the idea of getting these nice big ones. My Victoria Regina's got some buds. They've snuck up on me. I didn't realise they were there. So we'll have some. Well, that'll be back in bloom again soon. It seems to bloom on and off throughout the year, so that's good. And I'm really looking forward to this Masdevallia opening, because I haven't got a clue what that one looks like. That was the one I got in the auction. Anyway, this is just a quick video really. I don't know whether I'll get a proper orchid one done today. I'm just keeping people posted as to what's going on. But I need to get this lot finished so that the grow room can be cleared up and get back to, you know, being able to access all my plants and everything without having to walk round things and squeeze past things and worry about knocking things over and stuff. So we'll get back to the orchids. It's just that this is a distraction in a good way, because this is it. You know, once I've done all this, I won't need to do any more of this type of work, and I can crack on and get the outside parts of the garden that I want to do and sort my bonsai out separate from the orchids, whereas at the moment it's all muddled up together. So we'll get there. We will get there. And as I say, I'll get this second lot of staging finished today, get another coat of stain on it, and then that can be drying off. It only takes 2 to 4 hours and it's handleable. It's touch dry, but it has to cure before it can get wet. So what I'll do is I'll put the piece of cardboard in the lounge, carry it into the lounge, and it can just sit in there for a couple of days until it's totally cured. Then it can just go outside somewhere. It doesn't matter where it goes for now. It can just go outside, out of the way. But I need this grow room back. I need to be able to get at stuff. Still, anyway, it's silly o'clock at the moment. It is not even 6 o'clock in the morning yet. So I just wanted to get something posted to let you know what's happening. And the saga with the power going off. The story continues. The story of the power going off in my house finished when the power came back on. And the freezer fired up and ran for quite a while. I flicked it onto quick freeze because obviously the power had been off for some time, just to kick it back, into its proper temperature and everything. And I was up and running. And about 10 minutes later, next door's house alarm went off. And boy, was it loud. Of course, there's nobody in. The kids are away at school, and the two were out at work. So there's nobody there. So I thought, oh, hell, what am I going to do? So basically, just coincidentally, the guy next door sent me a text, is the power back on? So that I didn't have his phone number. I didn't know what to do. So anyway, I got this text saying, is the power back on? So I replied, I phoned him because I thought this needs talking about. I said, yes, the power's back on and your house alarm is going off. So I sort of held the phone up by my front door so that he could hear it. And I said, obviously, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. But your alarm's going off. Somebody needs to get back to the house, as soon as possible to sort it out. Anyway, wifey came back and whacked the code in and turned the alarm off. That was after about half an hour, And they had serious problems. There was no power on the gates, even though the power was back on. And they couldn't get the gates to work. And they still haven't got the gates working. So they're on manual at the moment, which means the little side gate doesn't close because that's a strong magnetic catch. Well, without the electricity, that doesn't work. And the big gates, where to get the cars in and out, have to be pushed open manually against their hydraulic supports. And they're stiff, they're really hard. And that's all all that can be done. That's as it was left yesterday evening. He said, I will lock the gates, this evening, so that overnight they're actually locked and people can't push them open, sort of thing. And then I'll try and get it sorted tomorrow, which is now today. So I don't know what's happening with the gates. All I know is that I need to get the car out on Saturday to go to the Orchid Society meeting and then back in again, obviously, later in the day. If the gates are on manual, so be it. I'll just have to push the gates open, drive the car out, and then get out the car and close them behind me. It's not the end of the world. And I'm sure he'll get it sorted, But at the moment, he thinks there's a fuse somewhere that he hasn't found yet that's blown. And once he gets that sorted out, then the gates should start working again. I don't know what he'll do today because he tends to go to work pretty early at the moment. He's working a fair distance away, and he's usually leaving about 7 o'clock. So I doubt if he's going to get anything done before he goes to work, unless he just doesn't go to work today. I don't know what he'll do, but yeah, it is a bit worrying when you've got these systems and the owner of the system, because I'm like a spur off the security system for this house. So that I can operate the gates and have an intercom and, see the camera, see who's actually calling and that sort of stuff. But I don't own the system. I've just got a spur off of it. The system is in his house, which is a trifle worrying when we have these sort of problems. What's going to happen when he moves out and somebody else moves in? That is worrying. Because if he, as the owner of the system and the person who installed it all, if he can't sort it out, what chance does anyone else have? Anyway, so that's the saga of the power cut. Obviously, something, I think, where the power was off for so long, somewhere in that system, I think there's one of these backup batteries that means the settings are retained when there's a power outage. Well, they only work for so long. Like I've got one of those on my heating controller. Well, the power was off long enough that failed. So all the timer and everything's up the Swanee now. I've got to reprogram the whole flipping thing. The boiler came on at 2 o'clock this morning and woke me up because the clock's wrong. Everything, all the settings are wrong, so I've got to reprogram the flipping thing. Well, if something like that's happened to his system, then that could be the problem. It needs a complete reset or something. But you know, that's what happens with these complex systems. You know, when they go wrong, nobody knows how to fix them. Anyway, I need another coffee. I've only had one this morning. That's not good enough. So, and I'll keep you posted. But today I want to get this lot finished and sorted out, and the grow room cleared up back to normal, so that I can move around and and then I'll think about the next job is I've already posted a video looking around the garden at the work I need to do before I can get the bonsai set up on their staging. Yeah, and that should really improve the look of the garden. So we'll hopefully get that done. I might even start on that later today. I want to have a go with the strimmer and see what sort of job it does. And if it's really easy, I'll just finish it. However, if I'm struggling and I have to get other tools out to help and that, then I won't get as much done. But whether I do that today or not, I don't know yet. We shall see. Anyway, I was going to say I'm going to go and get me breakfast, but it's far too early for breakfast. But at least I can have toast today. That was annoying yesterday, not being able to have my toast, especially as I'd got some nice new marmalade to try out. I had a cheese sandwich instead. But it's funny how YouTube has its bonuses. Somebody reminded me of something you can do. Yeah? You can always fry some bread. Yeah? Because I've got a gas hob, so I've got access to, the gas. That's how I was boiling the water for me coffee. And then it suddenly dawned on me, never mind doing that, what about whisking up an egg? And dipping the bread in some egg and putting it in a pan. Yay! And that idea has sort of sat with me now, even though the power's back on and I can use the toaster. I quite like the sound of that. We might give that a go later on today. Anyway, I've got to get back to my YouTube stuff. I got comments to do and things like that. That's what I do this time of day normally. And I'll see you next time. I'm sorry with the interruption with the orchid stuff, but there's a set of things that I need done and finished so that normality resumes and I can get up in the morning and sort of know what I'm doing and not have to be distracted into the various avenues that I've got on the go. So and until that happens, I'm not able to get back. I mean, I can't work in here on things like repotting and stuff. I can't even get at a lot of the plants at the moment without stepping over things and falling over things. So I need to get this lot finished, and then we'll be back to normal, which hopefully will be by tomorrow. But we'll see how it goes. We could do with some more rain, I must admit, but I don't suppose we'll get any. Supposed to be getting warmer again. Now this has been a pleasure. Inside the house at the moment it's 19 degrees C. That is incredibly comfortable compared with what it's been. I don't know what it is out here. It is 18 out here. And what I do in the mornings now that we've got this cooler weather like this, I open this door to the lounge, and then that lets a bit of heat out of the house into the grow room to start it off. And it also drops the humidity in the grow room, which was 75 when I opened the door. I don't want this humidity in here creeping up again because it causes problems. I'd rather keep it I'm running it at about 65 at the moment with the temperatures I've got. So, and at the moment the old humidifier never comes on because it doesn't need to. The humidity's above the setting, so it's just not getting used, which is a saving in energy costs, not using up all my RO water too quickly, so it's a bit of a bonus. But when it's hot, obviously I've got more fans running, but then I'm not heating, so swings and roundabouts and all that stuff. Anyway, I shall see you next time. Waffling again. What do you mean you noticed? Bye for now.